it's Lucy Cain. We're back with another episode of The Juice with Lucy. And today I have Lindsey Noto on here. She's the wife of Chase Tyler, and as I like to call her, the godmother of musicians, or musician wives. Musician wives. So first I want to kind of get into just who you are, how you and Chase met, kind of do a little small segment on that. Okay. And then I think most of our episode is going to be on the entertainment industry, just because that's what we live. That's what we eat, sleep, and breathe every day. For sure. So I just said that, you're a real estate agent. Yes. How long have you been in real estate?
I have been in real estate over 10 years now.
Oh. Okay.
I'm getting old.
We won't say ages on here.
No. So I got into it because I was working full time, trying to be a mom, trying to do music, and be supportive of that. And I just was missing out on a lot. So I wanted something that was still flexible for me to be able to do all the things, because we were starting to travel a little bit, and then I wanted to be home for our daughter. So I got my license, and it's been the best thing I've ever done.
I can understand that because I was in finance before whenever I met Thomas. And it was a lot, like working full-time jobs. We couldn't keep up with everything. And from day one, I've not missed a show. And so that was something we were like, we've set it this way. I'm not going to, start missing things here and there.
I get it.
So we transitioned into working at his mom's bar and helping her with that, managing the bar. Now I feel like we're traveling so much that it's even hard for us to do that.
Well, that's the thing. I got to where, like, I only had so much sick time, and then, we were going places, and I was eating all my sick time, and then we couldn't have family vacations. So I did that, and then Chase was working at the time as well, and then he was able to quit his job after I became a little successful with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, let's be honest, after last night, I think you're going to be even more successful after those results we got. Yeah.
I hope so.
So that's awesome. Yeah. One thing that I told Thomas I wanted to ask you, because if anyone is going to be honest and have the truth with this, it's going to be you.
Yeah.
The opinions of other people throughout the music career. Mm-hmm. I have noticed, and I'm not sure if y'all have felt this or not, but I feel like the better you do, people start to have, like, there's a stigma around it. And they feel like if you're going off and you're traveling and you're doing all of these fun and great things to further your career, that when you come home, you not feel like you're better than everyone, because I will never feel that way. But I think that other people have that opinion of you, and they start to change. And we've said it before that we would never choose to just up and leave. We don't want to move. Yeah. Louisiana is our home. But the way that people...
I like that song.
But the way that people treat you when you do come back home, like, there's some that'll joke and they'll be like, oh, the rock stars are here, or can we approach you? Can we talk to you? And that just makes me feel weird, because I will never change throughout this entire process. Yeah. Chase is in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. When all of these things started happening and he was traveling the United States, did y'all feel that also?
So I'm gonna be honest, I've been doing this 17 years now. So we have a very, very small group of friends. I've learned over the years, you just can't let everybody in, because you have to decide who is a friend of Chase Tyler or who is a friend of us as a family, You
just gave me the chills. I swear.
But it's the truth. So we haven't really experienced that, because and I will say over the years, our friends just kind of know, it has tapered off to where they have stopped inviting us, and we don't take it the wrong way, you know what I mean? But
I'm literally missing out on being
but that's the thing,
my best friend's wedding because of traveling.
No, and they at first it feels kind of weird, and you're like, do they hate you for it? But they just know now, and we don't take offense to it. They don't take offense to it. We will still get invited if we're able to come. They know we will be there. But if we're not, we've missed best friends' birthday parties, all the things.
The
you know what I mean? So I feel like we're blessed in that department, and we haven't really run into that. Now, there's haters on social media all the time, and there always will be.
We actually talked about that too. So that was my next thing, is the opinions of other people. Yep. Have you ever, or do you now let that affect you or bother you?
So I'm gonna be honest, it's very hard. It's very hard, because the mama bear comes out in me, and
that's why you're the godmother.
I know I don't have to defend my husband. He's a grown man. But, it makes me so mad, because he just lets it roll off his shoulders. I have a harder time doing that, because I'm very protective, and I want to say so much, and I just can't. So,
well, here's your chance to.
No, I will be canceled in a minute. I've learned over the years to just, It's hard.
Is it kind of like a pick your battles type of situation?
Yes. And it's, I wish there's so much I wish that I could say that I just can't. And, I have, I'll just vent to him about it. And he's like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, but it is, so.
To me, it's a huge deal because it's like you want to protect the reputation that you're trying to build.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, you have to realize that people are going to talk no matter what. They're going to have good things to say. They're going to have bad things to say.
Yep.
But you know who you are. Your closest friends know who you are. And it's just, God, it's so hard not to argue back online.
Oh, trust me. And I have friends that I have to tell them, do not say anything. Because I have friends that will go to battle for us and want to. And I'm like, no.
Just
like,
just kill them with kindness and keep your mouth shut.
Because they're going to know, like, they're going to think I put you up to it, So I have lots of friends that I have to, like, they'll send me something. I'm like, do not say a word.
Yeah.
So it does make it makes it difficult. It does. But,
you get through it. And you and Chase become stronger throughout the process. If it's anything like Thomas and I.
Yeah, for sure.
The conversations that we have about other people, espally when they're against you, it naturally is going to make you closer.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to prove yourself to others.
Absolutely.
So speaking of Chase again, how long has he been doing music, and like how long have y'all been together?
So when he was 17, well, he did like karaoke and stuff, but when he was 17 years old, he moved to Branson, Missouri, did stage shows in Branson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in several stage shows there. So he likes to say that's his college. Like, that's
is that where he
learned,
got like his excitement, his bounciness all over stage?
Like, that is Branson through and through on stage, moving the hips, everything. I call him his Branson hips.
Okay.
So that taught him his stage presence. Then he moved to New York for a little while and was a blues brother in an off-Broadway play in New York. He was Elwood Blues. Then he moved to Nashville and starved and hates it. I
hear that a lot of people do that. That's why everyone's like, you're going to move to Nashville? Probably not.
No,
I mean, if we have the right opportunity or the right scenario, then yes. But there's so many horror stories from that.
Oh, I mean, like he wrote a whole song about it. So when I met him, he was 21, but he had just moved back from Nashville. So he had lived, because I'm older than him. And so when he told me his age, I'm like, I don't know about it. 21-year-old musician, not real sure. So we've been together 17 years. So he really formed the band, the official band, right after that. He moved back home, decided he wanted to do, he was tired of being told where to step, where to move, what, the monotony of it. So we've been together since he was 21.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a little while there. But okay, so obviously before that, you had to have had a little bit of a dating life. Is there a date that sticks out in your brain that's like probably just cringy?
Gosh. Yes. So, and we still laugh about it to this day. So not long before I met Chase, so I had been married before.
No shame in that.
Yeah. So, but I had went on a date. It was like a blind date mutual thing. We were sitting at dinner. And everything was going on. He was a little bit shorter than me, but I'm like, it is what it is. He opened up his wallet, and it was a Velcro wallet. Oh. And the look on my face, like the whole table saw it, because I hear, and I'm like, no way.
No, that's so funny, because I was going to ask you if you had any icks, like later on in the show. Is that like one of the biggest icks? You're
not 10. Like, I feel like.
You can just hear,
yeah.
like grown man.
So I was like, oh no. Okay. So I was already like, So then we went dancing to this place after, and he was like slow dancing, and like you could tell he was like staring at me, and I'm like, I faked a headache and left. And bless his heart, not such a nice guy, but the guy that was with us was like, Lindsay, the look on your face when
the moment that Velcro wallet came out, you know it was over.
Mortified. I'm like, I
could not be going on dates with this man.
So small, but it's like, yeah, I do have icks.
That's hilarious. So I can actually tell you that I don't have an embarrassing date story, and the reason for it is because I've never been on a date. Yeah. Okay.
You've never been on a date?
Never. I've never been on a date. So I actually, my husband that I was married to prior to Thomas, we met in high school.
Okay.
And I had my daughter in high school. We were together for like 8 or 9 years. So I mean, in high school, you didn't really go out on dates. I mean, I think she was conceived on a snow day. So, I mean, we skipped school, that was, I guess, my first date. And then after that, we split up, and I was just kind of living the fast life, and was at, I think I was at the prop stop maybe, and sat down at the bar, met somebody, and like from that day, we were together for a year. Funny. And we all know the day that that guy and I split up is the day that I met Tommy. I mean, I've never been on a date my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't even know how. Like, if he ever left me or if we ever split up for some ungodly reason, I think I'd just be alone, or like maybe just go sit somewhere and see who sits next to me. I don't know. Like, that's my dating life.
That's funny. Well, I haven't been on a lot, but that one, I mean, I still laugh about it to this day because it's, it sticks out to me for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the next thing I think I want to bring up are fashion fails. I have a few of my own.
Okay.
But then I also want to make fun of Thomas for a little bit. Just because, okay, so in the beginning of us meeting, he was still kind of like transitioning from what he was, I guess, like months before that. He was trying to find himself.
Yeah.
And I still pick on him to this day. He would wear those like button-up shirts with like the big diamond crosses. But I think it might have been popular
like
around that time. Yeah, I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
So over time, like he would be like, where is this, where is that? And I'm like, I don't have a clue. Meanwhile, I went and grabbed it from the closet when he wasn't around, tossed it because I was like,
funny.
We're going to change this style up.
That is funny.
So over time, he's found himself. Like we tried the whole Converse thing with him, and that was cool for a while. We were definitely a little more like edgy rock whenever we met. And we started transitioning into like having a really badass shoe game. I really like my big flashy boots now. And he's up to, I don't even know, like 10, 15 pairs of Jordans.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay.
So the fashion fails for him are definitely going to be that, or like, those pants with like the rips in them, but it has camo shining through the back of them.
Oh, I don't know that I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, just bless your eyes, don't do it.
Okay.
They're not very cute. I love him to death, but funny. I had to make fun of him for a little bit.
That is funny. Well, Chase and I went through our like Rue 21 era, where you went to like Rue 21 and got your whole outfit, and I mean it was, embarrassing. He used to wear like sequin vest and stuff.
No way. Well, is that like the Branson thing?
Yeah, but I mean, like he was like a whole cowboy
sequin
at one
vest?
point before like he moved to Branson, like Mr. Garth Brooks.
Do you have a picture of that we can pop into
I'm
here?
sure I can find one.
Okay, I'm going to need you to find that.
He performed like the national anthem at his school in like an American flag, like sequin vest with no shirt underneath it.
Sassy.
So yeah, we like to laugh about that, and then his whole like Garth Brooks era where he thought he was Garth Brooks.
That's so funny. But like fashion fails, I don't think that you have a fashion fail that I've ever seen. Like your earrings are super cute right now, the guitars.
I mean, I don't really have like a style. Like it's really whatever I feel that day, or whatever. Like I don't really, I'm not up to par on the style. I don't really care what's in or out.
I can understand that. Like some days I'm super grungy. Other days I might be in a little sundress.
Like I'm always going to have holes in my jeans. I'm always, I'm not really into wearing dresses and,
T-shirts are kind of your thing too, and you always make them cute.
Yes,
so
yes.
I don't, I said, I don't think you've had a fashion fail. As far as myself, it might not be fashion, but I used to have the Karen cut.
No way.
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's funny.
I had the Karen cut, and even at one point, like right here was blonde, which I think that's in right now. It's like
that's
money pieces.
Yeah.
But back then, I don't think it was popular. And I saw some girl online, and like everything that I am is a little bit of all the people I've seen or met.
That's funny.
I just want to be like everyone. You know?
No, I used to want to be Britney Spears. So,
well, you can sing too. So I mean, you were well on your way.
But no, I used to, try to be her. She was like,
girl. Speaking of Britney Spears, that's funny that you brought that up. She wasn't even on my list to talk about today, but that can move us into the other things. Do you think Britney is really Britney?
No.
I firmly believe that she is not.
I do not. It makes me sad. It really does. I have been a Britney Spears fan from the beginning. And I do not believe, like, you're not going to make me believe that is the same mouth and teeth of.
That's it.
It's something's off.
And I know that people say that, like, over time she's going through, like, all of these breakdowns and, like, she had a really hard life. And I can imagine, but people don't change that much.
Even her voice, like, it's just something's weird with it.
Something is super, super
I wear
weird.
my full hat about that for sure.
Okay, so you believe in aliens? You believe in all of that stuff?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Elon Musk is definitely an alien, but we need him. We need all of his stuff.
No, I like to go down, and I have friends that make fun of me. I'm like, it's fine. Like, you believe what you believe, and, I'm not completely crazy with it, but I do not believe we're the only people on this earth. Like, I don't. Nope. Like, I'm sorry. And I don't think they're little green men. Like, they
look just like us. I mean, I've seen enough TV shows, too, to where I know that, like, they can blend in.
Yeah, nope, for sure. I believe in all that.
But a pretty hot topic right now is the P. Diddy scandal.
Yeah.
I've kind of looked into it a little bit here and there, and I believe that everything that is being said, like at some point, he is going to have a list of names, and half of Hollywood is going to jail.
Absolutely.
I truly believe it.
People sell their soul. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, people, they are so fame hungry that they don't care.
That's it. Like, okay, so you're in this industry, and obviously everyone wants to be at the top, but like, at what expense? How far are you willing to go to make it there? Like, what would you give up? I heard Beyonce, and this is all honestly just internet stuff, but I heard she like sacrificed a family member for the Illuminati or something to make it, and then she's supposedly responsible for all of these deaths. Aaliyah, and
she's completely evil. Like, the Aaliyah thing is, I've always thought something was off with that death. I loved Aaliyah. I wouldn't sacrifice any of my morals. Like, I just wouldn't. Like, I would rather be living under the interstate before I had to do any of that.
That's it. We've had that conversation so many times before, because I mean, you hear all of these like horror stories. Look at Justin Bieber. Again, everything is just hearsay and it's all on the internet, so I don't know what to believe. But I truly do believe in the conspiracies that are going around. I mean, look at the type of person he was when not Justin Bieber, but P. Diddy, whenever the footage came out of him beating her and beating Cassie in the hotel. Yeah. And it's just like, if you can do that and not care, and you think that you have that kind of power that no one's going to be able to stop you, like, what else are you willing to do?
No, for sure. No.
Justin Bieber, he was the sweetest little thing. I mean, he was like America's little heartthrob.
Carly was the biggest Bieber fan ever to live. My friend Carly, yeah. That's the only reason, like, I knew, I mean, I'd heard of a Bieber, obviously, but she was like, Bieber did no wrong in her eyes. So.
Right. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, he's a different person. Yeah. And you can't help but to think that it's all of like the trauma that they lived and the things, the freak offs and, like the white party and all that stuff. So
absolutely.
You can only imagine.
A lot of those childhood stars, I mean, a lot of them are just off the rocker, and you have to wonder why.
For sure. And look, I hate the fact that J-Lo is all up in the mix of it, because I absolutely love her. I really, really do.
But she's cuckoo magoo. I mean, like, as beautiful as she is, like, she's got issues. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, she can't keep a man. She
I was literally about to say she can't keep a man.
Like, you got to, at some point, you have to step back and be like, okay, well, maybe the common denominator, like,
maybe it's you.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I'm, no hate to her. I don't know her personally.
So do you feel like, and we might be getting a little deep. I don't know. I might have someone coming after me after this. But do you think that Diddy had anything to do with Tupac's death?
I don't think Tupac is dead.
Okay, so that's another one. He's living on an island somewhere.
And then we can go deep into this. I don't think he is, and people are going to probably really.
What's your reason for thinking that? Like, what have you heard or researched?
I think that he was tired of just being in it. Same thing, and God, I'm going to be chastised for this. I don't think Michael Jackson is dead.
There's a list of celebrities out
there. And I don't think that Elvis.
I was going to say Elvis.
That's my three. Like, and I'm probably going to get all the comments, but I don't care.
They come with it anyway. I mean, I posted a video about someone being nice, and someone gave me shit over it. So speak your truth, girl.
That's what I believe. I do. I have the whole video with Michael Jackson, like, getting out of the car, at the back of the car when they brought him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I've seen that video with my own eyes. I don't know. That's just what I feel. I don't think Tupac's dead.
The whole entertainment industry is absolutely terrifying. It really is, because like I said, you want to make it, you want to get to the top, but you almost feel like you have to sell your soul in order to do so.
Absolutely.
And it's like everything is so intertwined, and it's such a close-knit thing.
Well, it's about who you know and how much money you can pay. And
speaking of how much money you can pay, and it's a cult, Taylor Swift. Can we just touch on that for a second?
So I brought my daughter. We were gifted tickets, and it is no secret that I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I never have been.
I like certain songs of hers. I do. And I respect her work ethic. I do.
And that's the thing. I am still not a Swiftie, but I will say I was thoroughly impressed. I will never take it away from her. The production, She played for 3.5 hours and didn't take a break. I mean, she's a beast.
And the outfit changes and the shoe changes. She really has it all together. It really is.
Yeah. But, and I don't think that she is meaning to have cult-like fans. I think that that's just, I mean, she threw her hands up into a heart and the whole crowd, I mean, it was like instantaneous. And she would point and they would do a wave. Like, she has them literally in the palm. I've never seen an artist have the fans in the palm of their hand like that, ever. I have been to thousands of concerts. It was impressive.
I've told Thomas that I think that, like, honestly, if it came down to it, she has fans that would be willing to kill for her.
1,000%.
And that's terrifying to be able to have that much power, that much
power
control.
is completely terrifying. It really is. In any aspect, like it's very, very terrifying. But again, I don't think she's doing it with like ill intent. I think that that's just.
Do you think she's the leader of the Illuminati? Or do you think it's Beyonce?
I think it's Beyonce.
I really think it could very well be Beyonce.
I think it's Beyonce.
We are so getting canceled after this episode, I'm telling you. I'm convinced that it's Beyonce.
Don't come for us.
Was it Adele who, like, she broke her trophy in half and gave part of it to Beyonce?
Really?
Yeah, I think it might have been Adele.
That's
like,
weird.
she got some award and, like, on stage, she, like, breaks it and she's like, this part goes to Beyonce. And everyone's like, thank Beyonce. What are we thanking her for?
Yeah. Well, it's just like Kanye coming up and interrupting Taylor Swift's speech that year.
Supposedly, he was trying to protect her. And I don't really know if I have an opinion on that. Like, I'm not sure.
Trying to protect who?
Trying to protect Taylor from the wrath of Beyonce.
I mean, it's very possible because now he's coming out saying that he was, manipulated by the Kardashians for his beliefs of the president. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's crazy.
It is
it's
scary.
A dark hole.
Almost makes you want to just, like, kind of halt it a little bit before you get too deep into the entertainment industry.
I choose sometimes not to go down the rabbit hole because I'm like, I will be up all night watching TikToks on it. So.
Oh, yeah. But I do want to get back because I called you the Godmother. So the reason why I call you the Godmother, I think I've told you before, is because in the very beginning, like, y'all were one of the first musicians that Thomas and I met whenever he was starting to be an upcoming artist. And from that first single day, you've kind of, like, taken me under your wing, and I feel like you do that with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You've always had, like, the greatest advice and the nicest things to say. And one thing that we absolutely love about Chase is that even though he's still fighting the dreams and doing everything the same as we are, he's always been very supportive of other artists.
Absolutely.
And he genuinely wants to see people succeed.
Absolutely. And that's what people don't realize. Like, what you see is what you get with him, and if anybody comes to him, he's going to be very honest.
Yeah.
And
just as you are.
I am too. And, sometimes you may not want to hear it. Sometimes, people have to learn on their own. But, I mean, that's what we try to be, is nothing but organic and just, like, we're not,
genuine, I think, is the word that you can use to describe y'all.
Thank you.
100% genuine people.
Thank you.
Okay, so kind of want to dive into this a little bit because we were talking about, like, the alien thing and ghost. Do you believe in ghost?
So I've never had an experience with one. I definitely believe in spirits and signs and all the things. My grandmother has had an experience with a ghost, and she has told me, the story about it, and it kind of creeps me out. But I've never personally seen one. Have you seen one?
I don't know that I have actually seen a ghost, but we do have a story. I kind of want to hear about your grandma's if you're willing to tell me, and then I'll tell you mine.
Yeah, so she was living in some apartments in Baton Rouge by herself, single. And she had come home. She used to go dancing at Floyd Brown's nightclub, like, all the time back when she was, in her 30s and 40s. So she come home from her apartment, and she was laying in bed, and she said she heard someone jiggling the front door to her apartment. And she lived by herself, so she kind of got freaked out. Well, my grandfather had given her, like, a little pistol. So she's like, do I reach for the pistol? Like, what do I do? So she hears footsteps, and her bedroom door was open, and she sees a figure in her bedroom door, and it's dressed in a tuxedo. And, like, it's just standing there. And she's, like, frozen in panic. Like, do I reach for the gun?
Right.
Like, what do I do? So all of a sudden it just goes away. So she calls the office the next morning down there. And they were like, oh, someone, killed themselves on New Year's Eve, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, I'm out.
The tux.
So they let her break her lease and everything. But she was like, he wasn't unfriendly, but it scared her, and I would be freaked out too. Ours
is kind of similar to that. So it was like two separate instances. The first one, I was like, this is kind of weird. But then whenever the second thing happened, I started digging into it. Mm-hmm. So a little inappropriate, but, like, we were in our living room, okay? And we were doing adult things. And it it just felt so awkward. And, like, if you know us, like, we are very lovey, intimate people. Like, it's never been an awkward moment with us. And it just felt like somebody was watching us. And I was like, this is so uncomfortable. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Can we just go to the room? So anyway, we go to the room, and I'm like, that was an uncomfortable situation. So the next time it happened, which wasn't long after that, was whenever we were in the shower. And
were y'all being inappropriate in the shower?
We were actually not,
because I'm like, apparently the ghost doesn't like this.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why they didn't like it in the living room too. So we were not being inappropriate in the shower. It's just something we do. Like, since day one, we've showered together.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, we literally do everything together.
I'd be like, get away. I need to wash my hair.
No, he helps.
That's funny.
So we're in the shower, and my daughter was not home. She was at a friend's house, and it's kind of like the story's a little bit like messy in my brain, ADHD, whatever. But I think maybe she was supposed to come to the house to get clothes or something to be able to stay another night. Anyway, we hear like down the hallway. And I was like, I wonder if Jaden's here. So I reach out, I grab my phone, check her location, and she was still in Albany. So I'm like, that's super weird. That's extremely weird. And we were like, I mean, do we go get the gun? Should you go check and see what's going on? He gets out, all the doors are locked, nothing's going on in the house. And we're like, this is super, super sketch. So we get out and I start diving into like the history of the house. And apparently it was a husband and a wife who died in the house. And the husband died in the living room. And so it was like, for the longest time, I would, like, when you're at home, obviously you want to walk around either like naked or like in just a t-shirt, whatever. For a long time, I would cover myself if I was anywhere but my bedroom or my bathroom, because I was like, there's no way I'm about to piss this ghost off again.
Were they murdered?
No, they died of natural causes.
They were old or young?
They were old. It was an older couple. And okay, so the funny thing about that is, believe it or not, this is when it stopped. So the lady that passed away in the house used to be a client of mine whenever I worked for the bank. And she gave me a prayer box bracelet. And she gave it to me and the branch manager. And so I had eventually given that to my mom. Like a couple years later, she was going through a hard time. And so I gave it to her and I was like, you put your prayers in here and then it keeps you safe. So I called her and I was like, Mom, hey, I need that bracelet back. I feel like this could be like my peace offering to the ghost in the house. Like, hey, remember me? I'm good people. I got that bracelet back from her and I was like, look, Miss Irene, I have it. It's fine. Please don't mess with me anymore. Yeah, so people said that there were like in the back shed, they would see sightings of like ghosts all the time. Oh, no. But we still live there. I mean, no one's messed with us anymore. Every now and then, like was it the other night? I think we had a door open.
Nope.
And I just blamed it on the air, like the AC or like my cat pushing it or something. So yeah, that's my ghost story.
I sold a house to a client and we got it fully furnished. Well, I didn't know why, but they literally left everything. Sheets, blankets, everything. Well, he, being a single guy, went and slept on the bed on the sheets like he didn't care. So he hears something on his patio outside, and all his patio stuff had been moved. And I'm like, the ghosts are mad. Like, you're sleeping on their sheets, you know?
I feel like if they do move things around or, like, if anything's, like, an abrupt thing, that's whenever it's a little, like, scary. I even had someone that was going to come sage my house for me because I was scared to do it myself because apparently, like, there's rules. You have to open windows. And you can piss them off even more if you're just over there, like, making them cough and shit. So
I don't even do antiques because I'm afraid of anything old freaks me out.
Thomas tells me that all the time.
I'm afraid something's going to be attached to it. My mom had, like, an antique store when I was little, and, like, the smell already, I'm like, ugh, you know, but I have friends that collect antiques. I'm like, nope. Like,
that's one of my favorite things to do.
You're going to bring something into my house. And I'm like, Like, I appreciate the history. It needs to stay there. Like, I
like old boxes. And I feel like there were so many, like, things that old boxes could have been holding and,
have
like,
you seen
deep
The Conjuring?
secrets.
I mean...
Okay, so I actually don't watch a lot of, like, possession movies.
I don't either. Like, that was my first and last. Like, I love scary movies, but it is nothing with demons or...
Same. So I'm the first person to watch, like, a very suspenseful or, like, thriller scary movie. But when it comes to anything with, like, demonic possession, I'm not going to do it. And the reason for it is whenever I was, I don't know, like, maybe 9 or 10 years old, my cousin, they lived in this old antique house. Like, when I tell you flush the toilet by, like, pulling one of the chains down. Beautiful house, but it was super creepy. And her TV was in the top corner of the room. And her friend thought it would be funny to put on The Exorcist and play a joke on me. And it was the scene with her and the cross. And I couldn't turn it off. I'm just sitting in the room crying. And from that moment on, I will not have white sheets on my bed. I will not sleep in all white. Like, I feel like if any of that happens or if I do it, I'm just, like, inviting it in.
No, I get it.
Don't bring a Ouija board around me. None of that. It's absolutely terrifying.
Same.
But in the same sense, I do like the spiritual side of things, just like the more positive side of it.
I believe in signs from loved ones and all the things. Like, I do.
You feel like they visit you, like, in the form of...
for sure. Like, I'm not one to get dreams about them. Like, you know, some people have dreams about their loved ones. I don't. I just get little little messages here and there, I feel like, you know.
Speaking of dreams, so my best friend, he actually passed away 3 years ago, October 27th. And for a while, like I don't really remember my dreams a whole lot.
Yeah.
Recently, I've had like some collage of dreams. We won't even go there. But I don't often dream about him either.
Yeah.
But that night, I had a very, very, very vivid dream. And the next day, I spoke with his mom and our other best friend, and they did too.
Oh, wow.
So it was like
I love that. He came to say hello.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, y'all haven't forgotten about me, right? Like, I'm still here."
That's awesome.
But manifesting with, like, you know, the whole spiritual side of things, manifesting is something that I strongly, strongly believe in. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, looked into it. I am convinced that we have manifested our career thus far.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm the one out there, like, charging my crystals under the moon and, like,
that's funny.
Yeah, like putting cinnamon everywhere and stuff.
That's
so
funny. Okay.
I believe that it could work, but it's also like, I mean, it's another person's version of prayer.
Yeah, for sure.
You're putting into the universe
Absolutely.
what you want to get back. And it's like the I think it was called like the red car theory, to where like you may never see a certain color car until you get that car. And then you're going to see that color car, that type of car everywhere.
I believe that.
So whatever you're constantly looking for on a daily basis is what you're going to find.
And if it's negativity, it's going to be
exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you wake up every day and you're just like, wow, today sucks.
Absolutely.
And I can't get through this day. Everything throughout the rest of your day is just going to be constantly negative.
Well, I tell people that all the time. Like, you know, I have been through the worst of the worst, losing a child, all the things. And like being not depressed is a choice you have to get up every day and make. Like, like, I'm not saying people don't have mental health and it's not important. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like it's a choice that you have to make every day to get up and be like, I'm going to be okay today, everything. Because if you dwell on any sadness, badness in your life, like, it's just going to put you down, you know?
I agree. Not to say to like ignore it, because obviously there's times that you have to face it, but try to put a positive spin on everything.
Like, I'm not saying not to grieve, but what I'm saying is if I can get through the worst of the worst, like whatever you're going through, I promise you can get through it, you know? Because I mean, it's the truth.
Our high school principal used to say, make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.
That's right.
And that was how he ended his broadcast every morning.
That's right.
We actually didn't even talk about if this was going to be okay or not. So, I mean, if not, I'll cut this out. No. But I didn't know that you lost a child. Yes. Would you be willing to discuss that a little?
Okay. So Chase and I, we had a stillborn. Her name was Lyric.
That's a beautiful name.
I know, it was like the perfect name. Yeah,
Lyric. I just had the chills from
head to toe. So we gave Presley her middle, like she's Presley Lyric. But I was 8.5 months pregnant and 34 weeks, and she was almost 7 pounds. I mean, I had to go through the whole thing, and we had to bury her and have a funeral, and she's buried right down the road. But
how long ago was that?
2010. So tomorrow is actually her birthday. She'll be 14, or she would have been 14. So we lost her in November of 2010, and then I found out, you know, little nice little thing. I found out I was pregnant with Presley exactly a year to the date later.
Aww.
Exactly. And their due dates were the same, and Presley ended up coming early, but so we had Presley the following year.
You can't help but to think that like everything happens for a reason, and maybe like you just weren't in the right place, or something had to happen in order to line everything up for you.
For sure. Yep.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was, and that's the thing, you know, like child loss either makes or breaks a marriage. And honestly, like my first thought was, this is going to be terrible, you know, because we're young, and it was completely unexpected. We had no money, you know, to bury her, and like all the financial things you're thinking about on top of having to deal with something that you shouldn't have to deal with at 25 years old.
Yeah.
But it made us a lot stronger. Like it really did. Like, and that's the thing. I feel like with people who have lost children, you find that they either end up in divorce or they end up with a really strong marriage, and it's like a choice you have to, you know, make.
Again, you have to make that choice.
Absolutely. So it was very difficult for us to go through at a young age, but you know, we got through it.
You did, and y'all are just absolutely, I mean, y'all are killing it these days.
Thank you.
So I guess before we get out of here, we can touch a little bit back on Chase. And so he's been doing music for quite some time. Recently, he's gotten into more of like, I guess, not more of the production side of things, but he's been producing shows himself.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
He's loving it. You know, he knows at some point he's not going to be able to do music, you know, like you age out of that and you get old, and he doesn't want to be 70, 80 years old still trying to make it, you know? Right. So he likes that side of it because he knows what it's like to be an artist and, you know, not have the show done correctly, or, you know, the artist not taken care of or whatever. So that's kind of what he's taken on is, that part of it is getting the artist and making sure, he loves it. He really does.
And all the shows that we've been a part of that he's done have been incredible.
Yeah, well,
so
I mean, that's the thing. He's done
only
enough
the
to know.
beginning.
He's done enough to know what works and what doesn't work, and different parts of it.
I don't want to like manifest this,
Yeah.
but like if anything were to ever happen in the music career to where we couldn't continue. I mean, honestly, anything can happen at any point in time. I've always said that we could go into music management because when I first started dating him, I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I came from finance,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, I'm basically his manager.
Yeah,
so
no.
we've learned enough along the way that I feel like once you get into music, it becomes your life, and there's
for
no
sure.
getting out
And there's
of it.
so many ins and outs, and there's so much that people don't realize.
Well, where can people find you as far as like contacting you if they want to buy a house, and then also Chase if they want to follow or come to shows?
So I'm on Facebook. I have a Lindsey Noto Realtor page. You can find me there. My number's everywhere. I have a billboard in Watson if you ever pass it. Chase
Sassy got herself a little billboard. Okay.
I mean, I'm just kidding. Chase has every social media platform: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Chase Tyler Band, right?
Chase Tyler Band.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Check him out. He has the same amount of energy as my husband Thomas.
Yes.
I mean, it's like looking at both of them on stage. They're bouncing around crazy.
Yes.
So,
yes.
well, this has been fun. I got
It
to know
has
a little
been
bit
fun.
about you.
Thanks for
and
having me.
I'm glad to know that you share some of the weird conspiracy theories that I do.
For sure. I'm sure we could do a whole episode on just that.
I might have you back in on that. Talk about the aliens will come in wearing our like wearing our aluminum hats.
For sure.
So anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed this. If so, you can follow me at any social media platform, basically, The Juice with Lucy. And if you did not like it, not my problem.
What's wrong with a little bit of crazy, a little bit of wild side, looking for a good time? She's a